Hey guys, we're here at BLU and we're going to be demonstrating the 110 hammer combo dies. I'm taking a 1-inch piece of 1084 round bar. We're going to forge a point, forge the bevels, forge the width, and we're going to make a chef's knife with an integral bolster, which I know everyone wants to learn how to do. So I'm going to show you. This is the integral chef's knife that we forged in our last video. So you can see that the bolster is integral, and the blade is forged right down here. We have a taper, we have a profile, we have an edge, and we have a tang. So I'm going to go right now first in grinding. What I do is I modify the profile slightly. Sometimes when you're forging, you might not get exactly what you want, so there's a little bit of subtlety in here. I want to change. The main thing has to do with the way this knife is going to function. It's very important that a chef's knife functions properly. You want to have the right rock on it. I don't know what else everybody else calls it, but I want that blade to feel smooth. When I'm trying to cut smooth, that's what I want to feel, really nice and smooth. So I'm going to modify that, and I'm going to change this tang a little bit. I got a little bit more tang forged out than I really need, but I like to have a good foundation in here, so I'm not going to take all that off. I'm going to leave enough, and then I can modify it a little bit, say, oh, my handle material is going to be wood, so I can put that on there and make a nice solid foundation for my blade. So we'll go ahead and grind. There's a lot of ways to get the scale off to save your belt. One of them is soaking in vinegar overnight. The vinegar will eat the hardened scale right off, and then you can grind it easily. For time purposes, I just ground it off. But one thing it'll do is it'll kill your belt. The scale on the knife, that's the hard, crusty, decarb surface that you get out here. It's crazy hard. I don't know how hard it is, but it's really hard. It's tough, and it'll eat a belt up. So now I've got my blade, I've got my profile, I'm ready to start grinding. One of the problems with grinding a chef's knife all the way sharp before you heat treat is warping. So what I do is, I want to clean this up. I want to clean this area up right here a bit. Right here in my plunges, which becomes the integral guard. And then I'm done before heat treat. And what you can see is when you're forging a chef's knife on a BLU, you can forge it to almost finish. It's not much left to do. So that's one of the coolest things about being able to use a hammer and learning how to manipulate the steel in a way to bring it right into the size and shape. I took off almost no material, less than 1/8, just a couple thousandths to get the scale off on here. Now I've got my knife. I leave the bolster, I don't touch that yet. All I did was grind this nice flat area with a nice arc coming down to the point and a nice arc coming from the edge, from the heel all the way up to the point. So there's a continuous arc here. So now I'm just going to clean up the grind a little bit, and then I'll be able to heat treat this knife. And then when I'm finished, when it's hardened and tempered, then I go back and do all the finish grinding. This is about as far as I want to go before I harden this knife and temper it. Once it's done hardening and tempering, then I'll go back and do the finish grinding. So you can see if you forge a knife, you can make an integral knife. You forge it down to the right shape and right size with very little grinding. So what we got going on here? This is the old school trick to hardening a blade. I'm not going to say anyway it's ideal unless you got total control over it, like molten salt, which is something I like to do. But what I'm going to use, this technique. Very old school, that's what a lot of people got, so that's what we're going to use. So we're going to preheat the ricasso area here a little bit. We're going to get that warmed up. Want to heat the thicker parts, because as you start hitting thin parts of steel, all that heat you got in the thin part is going to go right into the big part as soon as you move your torque away. So I'm not afraid to use the old school technique of taking the blade, heating it up with a torch, and quenching it in our heat treat oil and whatever we have, because I want this to work out. Now we got a warp, so we got a very short window of time. We can straighten this blade out. And what I like to do is get a little bending like that. Get it straight. The thinner the blade is, the more warpage you can expect. What's cool is we got a serious heat sink right here. And so we're going to clamp this blade down into it. It's going to pull the remaining heat off of it, and when we pull it out, it should be straight. Okay, now we're going to temper. I usually like to temper. This is 1084. This steel is actually made by Hitachi. A lot of people used to American-made 1084. I don't know when they quit doing this, but this steel is by Hitachi in Japan, and it goes to a spring plant. They make springs for Toyota trucks here in America, and I get the drops. And this is a really great steel. All right, now we got our blade tempered. We're hardened, we're tempered. We're going to go back in here and finish up and clean these plunge lines up, and then everything will be ready. Once the blade's clean, you can take that to whatever level of finish you want. A lot of times I like to do a kitchen knife like this. Simple finish is taking it to 120, 220 and Scotch Brite, and it's a very usable finish. You know, I can make that knife a reasonable price and send it out there and people will love it. I can put all kind of handle materials. I can go Koa, micarta, stag, anything you want to. I don't finish this part until I have the handle material on there, and then I begin blending in and grinding the bolster area, which is an integral bolster. You see how this is one piece of steel. When I'm running the kitchen knife, I like to take the edge down to 10 thousandths with my coarsest belt, and then I follow suit with the other belt. I don't care what it ends up as, but I take it to 10 thousandths with the coarse belt. So now we're going to change grips. Alright, so we forged, ground, hardened, and tempered our blade, and we're doing our finished grinding. Now this is as far as I'm going to go for now. I'm down to like a 120 grit. You can see how thick I am on the spine, not very thick. A little under 1/8 of an inch here at the thickest point, tapering all the way to the point. The edge is between 10 and 12 thousandths, which is exactly where I want it to be. And as I progress down to finishing, and if I go back to a hand finish, it'll be sharp by the time I'm done. So the width of the blade is the edge. So when you're cutting stuff, and when you drop a grape on it, it's going to cut it in half. You know that's sharp. Go home, take your kitchen knife, pull it out, drop a grape on it, and see what it does. It'll bounce off. So you know you got it sharp. When you drop a grape, you chop it right in half. So that's our integral kitchen knife, integral chef's knife, and that's how you do it. Number one tool, forging. That's how you get an integral. You can machine it all if you want, but that takes I don't know how many hours because I've never done it. I just forge them right down to where I want them to be.